Are you currently having a difficult time looking to control your own mind so that you can alleviate your anxiety symptoms? Today, we're going to dive deep into how to control your mind. Let's go. My friends, welcome to another important video on my channel. Today, we are discussing how to control your own mind. Before I get into it, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell for all the notifications for all my future videos. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, click right here. Now, to be honest with you, I don't like the word control because when we often use the word control, there's a lot of tension and pressure that goes along with that word. So instead of controlling our minds, I'd like to say guiding our minds or teaching our minds. And when we're thinking about the mind, what are we really talking about here? We're talking about not so much the conscious mind, the part of us that knows we are safe in a particular environment, the part of us that knows a health anxiety sensation or symptom is just that. No, what we're trying to guide here is the unconscious mind. And a lot of times the unconscious mind can become the unconscious body, because as you go about the day, you're going to notice that sometimes there are these little things that tend to set off the alarm, right? And next thing you know, you feel this heightened level of dizziness or an inability to think clearly or remember what you just did, or bodily sensations showing up like twitching, nervousness, heart palpitations. These things can become automatic. They can become chronic after some time if in fact your stress bucket has been full for quite some time. Now, we're here looking to guide the unconscious mind back to safety and back to new perceptions around the environment that we're in, as well as any future experience that we're going to have. So we're here looking to create new neural pathways in the brain, create new associations between things, right? And that's our job here. That's what we're trying to do, because when things become safe, there's no reason anymore for these embedded alarms to show up through the body, through sensations, symptoms, and so on. The clarity, the mental clarity starts to come back to us, right? We no longer feel so foggy up in the mind area, in our heads. So I want to go through this, and I want to ask you a simple question right here and right now. Are you a part of a dog mind, or are you a part of a lion's mind? A dog mind, for example, the owner standing in front of the dog starts to fiddle with a bone, and the dog's going, bone, bone, right? And in this case, just so you know, the bone is connected to an idea, a catastrophic idea, a fear-centered idea. You know, those kinds of ideas. So dog mind is bone, bone, bone. Everything is about that idea, right? Very tunnel vision. And the owner takes that bone, throws it to the corner. What does the dog do? Dog doesn't just look at it. The dog salivates and runs after it. Now, when you think about anxiety, does this connect? Yes, for a lot of people, especially me back in the day. It was like, okay, catastrophic idea, something that could go wrong, something that happened yesterday that I have to fix, some kind of problem that may show up that I have to be one step ahead of, so on and so forth. So any one of these kinds of ideas are like that bone, right, that we just run towards. Next thing you know, we create this spider web effect where we connect another idea to that initial idea, another idea, another idea. Then it turns into emotions. Now we find ourselves in the emotional state of fight or flight, right? A very fear-centered fight or flight state that becomes chronic. It literally becomes chronic, right? And I believe the lights just went on, so that's cool. And we don't want to be in this chronic state of fight or flight all the time. We don't want to feel this. We don't want to go about our days perceiving things from the perspective of fight or flight. We want to have control over guiding the unconscious mind back to safety at all times. Now, we just talked about dog mind, right? Dog mind. Now let's talk about lion's mind. A lion will look at the owner with the bone, right? And he'll keep his gaze on the owner. Even though the bone goes up, he may look up for a second, but then he'll come back to the owner. Left, okay, looks over there, right over there. But there's not this 110% attachment to the bone / thought or catastrophic idea when you're in lion's mind. Now the owner takes that bone, throws it to the corner. What does the lion do? The lion doesn't chase after the bone. Right? The lion may look at the bone, but then looks back at the owner, right? Looks around him. Now, it's very important in order to navigate this and in order to not allow these intrusive thoughts to dictate what you do and how you think about things, to put yourself in the position of lion's mind. Because when you look at a thought from this perspective and you don't chase after it, this takes practice. When you don't chase after it, now the thought is powerless over you. So it's kind of like looking at something from the outside rather than being on the inside of it. And now what we're trying to do with lion's mind, to consider the thought, right? Okay, I consider this thought that it could be true, right? But it's not true indefinitely, automatically. This is not my default way of thinking about things. It's just an idea that has crossed my conscious awareness for a short period of time. And as you practice lion's mind, what's going to happen is you've got a little bit of space there, right? A little bit of space in order to put something new back in, right? So these automatic actions and behaviors based on the intrusive ideas become literally embedded patterns. Patterns in our minds, patterns in our bodies, verbal patterns, behavioral patterns. We don't want these patterns anymore. We want to break these patterns. So as we apply lion's mind to an intrusive thought, now we create space, now we have something to put back in, and we can say something different to someone. So instead of automatically thinking about how difficult everything is and how far you still have to go in your healing, you've got a bit of space there. You're no longer emotionally attached to the original idea. And now you get to talk about your progress. Well, you know, it's not the best day, but you know what? I'm gaining a lot of clarity. My body feels a bit safer in these environments. You have space to verbalize your truth, and that truth is connected to progress, okay? Or it could be an action. Now you're about to walk into a cafe, you feel nervous about people looking at you, you think they're judging you or something like that. Am I wearing what I'm wearing properly? Am I walking properly? Am I breathing enough? Am I going to have a panic attack here? Are my sensations going to kick in? All of these question marks, right? This is the bone that's hoping that you'll attach to it so that you don't go into the cafe, so that you stay safe in your comfort zones. Go back, right? So instead, you take a moment and you pause. You look at it from lion's mind. Okay, I see the bone. I see it here. I consider it. However, I know where that takes me, and therefore I choose not to add any more energy or behavior behind this thought. So it's lion's mind. Now I've created some space. Now I get to focus on slowing things down as I'm walking and ordering what I need to at the cafe. Because if you didn't create this space, you wouldn't be able to slow down. Does that make sense? Comment below. The only way you can become logical, the only way you can become rational, is if you can create space between the initial idea and your automatic reaction, right? There's space there. There's no longer an automatic reaction because you're in lion's mind considering the thought but not falling for the thought. And let me give you another example. Anxiety symptoms, right? Health anxiety is a big one on this channel. Now you get a symptom that was probably there for the last 2 hours, but you just consciously became aware of it, right? And with the symptom comes an idea that says, should I go get this checked? Is this something worrying in my physical body? Is it going to get worse? Yada, yada, yada. So an idea around the symptom shows up. And instead of allowing your emotions to take over, instead of allowing that idea to become real in mind and body for you, you go to lion's mind. You consider the idea. You don't try to get rid of it or fight with it. And now you're looking at it from the outside. You've created some space. And now you can overlap the old thought with a new idea. The idea that says, well, all these symptoms have a very special characteristic behind them. They come and go, right? And they tend to get worse the more energy and focus I put into them. So now you've got this space to recognize what's really going on in relation to your health anxiety, and you no longer allow that to run the day. You see how this works, right? So my friends, to control your unconscious mind, our job is to not look to control the unconscious mind. Our job is to look to come at it from a lion's mind perspective, not chasing the bone, considering that the bone is there, but keeping our gaze and attention on the big picture. What's the big picture here? Whatever it may be. Because with anxiety, you're going to notice that everything is very tunnel visioned, right? It's either going to go bad or it's going to go horribly wrong, or I'm already doing things wrong, or tomorrow is going to be just like my past. It's all about that doom and gloom kind of lie, the patterns that continue to play out in mind and body. But if you no longer chase that bone, you come at it from lion's mind, we create space to insert something new in, and then, most importantly, we go about our day, and we go about what we're doing in that very moment from the perspective of being present rather than trying to protect from something that may happen in the future, right? And my friends, what I want you to do is comment below and let me know if this video spoke to you and in what way. There was some message here that you needed to hear so that you can apply into your daily routine, daily awareness over things, so that we can end this anxiety disorder, this anxiety struggle for good. So what spoke to you? Comment below. And again, if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, click here and let's get started. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and remember, you are more than anxiety. I'll see you soon.